Next up at UFC Vegas 93, we have Nate Maness taking on Jimmy Flick. Jimmy Flick, 17-7 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that ridiculously sloppy win over Malcolm Gordon. Taking on Nate Maness, 15-3 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout win over Mateusz Mendanka. Nate Maness is a pretty well-rounded guy. He's got good submission, solid power, good kickboxing, and he is very tough. He's willing to slug it out if he needs to. He's got solid wrestling with takedowns in all but one of his UFC wins and an impressive 78% takedown defense. He's coming off that knockout win over Mateusz Mendanka where he didn't even need to wrestle, and Mateusz Mendanka is a decent prospect. And if I broke this fight down the opposite direction, if I started with Jimmy Flick, I could just say, you have Jimmy Flick taking on, and then that's it. Like, you just know. It doesn't matter the name I say next. That person's going to win the fight. And that's essentially this background. That's the breakdown here. Listen, Jimmy Flick, slick grappler. Very slick grappler. That submission win over Cody Durden is wildly impressive. But that's basically it. He's got a negative striking differential of 2-5. He lands 2 strikes. He's blasted with 5. His takedowns kind of suck. And outside of a wild Hail Mary submission, there is not much to offer. So sometimes you don't even need to look at the opponent. You can just see who the fighter is and go that direction. Nate Maness is the pick. The odds make sense to me. I'm surprised they're not wider than they are, and they actually might be wider than they are now that Tricoli and that fight dropped. But Nate Maness is the pick, man. I don't see Nate Maness getting caught in a flying triangle or whatever nonsense that might come his way. What do you think? Jakey Bombalotes.
Yeah, just don't grapple and you win. And if you grapple, you're probably going to fuck around and lose. And you saw against the Mendoza fight, I mean, Mendoza was going all in on the grappling and the heel hooks and all this. You could tell Nate did not try to counter that. It was just all stay safe, get back to your feet, and do what you needed to do at that point. Obviously, he finished up kind of with ground and pound and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see a little bit more. And obviously, with heel hooks and leg locks and stuff like that, you definitely have to be careful with trying to get out of those too fast. But if there's ever a scramble, whatever, there's a sense of urgency to get the fuck back to your feet against Jimmy Flick, because Malcolm Gordon found that out very, very quickly, that even if you're lighting this dude up, right, and you're hitting him or whatever, if you slip and fall and you go to the ground with this guy and he gets a hold of you, he literally is just one of those guys that if he gets on your back, you're in big fucking trouble. So Nate should be able to use his length, stay on the fucking feet, don't grapple with this guy, and just hit him in the face like everyone else does.
Completely agree. It should not be more complicated than that. Nate Maness, the odds make sense. He should absolutely dominate this fight. It's insane to spend a ton of time talking about it. And when we look at DraftKings salaries, $9,400 for Nate Maness makes some sense. That is a price point that I can get behind, because I just think the level of athlete they're just night and day. They're not in the same league. They're nowhere near each other on that spectrum. So I think Nate Maness wins. I think he wins in dramatic fashion. I think he covers his DraftKings salary. And I think, honestly, at minus 600, it's not the best odds. You prefer a little better. And he was better earlier in the week. I still think you can, slap together a parlay or two and make it worth it, because it's a fist fight. Anything can happen. Nate wins this fight 29 out of 30 times. If you do want to check out any of the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the artificial intelligence, or Artem's picks, who just picked a perfect PFL card tonight, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It is only $10 for an entire month. And Jacob, you know how I always say, like, we have the smartest community, like the wisest, the most observant. Like, there's a lot of weird trolls in this space, but like our community really are just smart, observant, like they get it. And one of those people is the Prophet. The Prophet, I've always said, like, this guy gets it. 20/20 vision, very realistic outlook on life, a smart, high IQ guy. So the Prophet, shout out to you.
Take your hat off.
We're just going to... Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay, see? It's not bad. See? Okay. All right. Dickhead. Thought it was going to be worse. I'm growing it out.
I'm getting big news here. I'm getting usually I don't really care about my hair. Usually I'm just a sports clip guy. I get a fade, whatever it is. I think next week before Vegas, I'm going to go to an actual barber and get actually lined up and styled up and ready to go. It'll be
nice. You're going to do like one of these lines here and then
I'm just gonna tell him to hopefully give me one of those TikTok transformations.
Yeah.
All the comments are like, "Wow, holy shit, what a great looking guy!" You know,
dude.
I literally am just gonna go in there and be like, I just want a fade of some sort,
good.
and just do whatever you want to do. I don't give a fuck.
What's funny, the TikTok transformations, I would say 80% of them, they do that. What's that comb forward? It has a name now. Like the comb forward, like it's like super tight, real low. The fade ends here, and then they just dump all the hair forward. That's like the new look.
Well, yeah, I've seen a lot of those people with like really bad receding hairlines and stuff will get that, and then all the comments
looks
are
great.
like, all the comments are like, "Man, a windy day is gonna be his worst nightmare." And stuff like that.
Yeah. It's
Because some of those, it's like, yeah. I mean, it looks good sitting in a barber chair, but there's no way you could do
when they spray the shit out of it
like that. But
well, the worst is like after you get your hair cut, if the barber does it up and they just put like a little shit and they go, and it's the best your hair ever looks. Then you get home and you do the same thing, and it's like, I can't do it. How did he do that? I think it's the blow dryer, honestly. I think it's the blow dryer.
you don't have a blow dryer?
I do. I blow dry my body after I get out of the shower. I dry with a towel, and then I blow dry them. My neighbor had a very similar reaction. I thought that was honestly, I thought that was normal. I'll get out of the shower, I will dry with a towel, and then I'll blow dry. Like, just make sure everything is dry, like nice, clean, dry. Then I'll put clothes on. Who wants to put underwear on where you're not 100% dried out? I thought that was a normal thing to do. I still think it's normal. And I'm the driest person in any room you'll ever be in.